Earth stayed silent until the first shot made it personal. Captain Madison Wells stood at the observation deck of the diplomatic vessel New Terra, watching the alien fleet approach through the vast emptiness of space. The ships were unlike anything in Earth's archives, sleek, crystalline structures that seemed to pulse with internal light. After 47 years of maintaining strict neutrality in galactic conflicts, humanity was about to receive its first formal diplomatic contact from the warring factions. "Captain, they're requesting permission to board," reported Communications Officer Ryan Torres, his fingers dancing across the holographic interface. "3 representatives from the Hegemony Coalition." Madison nodded, adjusting her dark blue diplomatic uniform. Earth's policy had been clear since first contact protocols were established. Observe, learn, but never interfere. The galaxy's wars were not humanity's concern. "Grant permission. Escort them to Conference Room Alpha." The aliens who entered 20 minutes later commanded immediate attention. The lead delegate was tall and graceful, with luminescent blue skin that shifted in patterns when he spoke. His 2 companions flanked him like living statues, their own bioluminescent displays flickering in synchronized patterns. "I'm High Arbiter Kethvar of the Hegemony Coalition," the leader said, his voice carrying musical undertones that the translation matrix struggled to convey. "We come seeking audience with the representatives of Earth." "Welcome aboard," Madison replied formally. "I am Captain Wells. Earth extends its greetings to the Hegemony Coalition." Kethvar's skin pattern shifted to deeper blues. "Captain, your species intrigues us. In a galaxy torn by war, you alone have maintained true neutrality. This is unusual." "We believe in peace through non-interference," Madison responded carefully. "Earth has no desire to involve itself in conflicts that do not concern us." "But this conflict does concern you," Kethvar said urgently. "The Savage Dominion grows stronger each cycle. They consume worlds, enslave populations, and leave nothing but death in their wake. Already they control 17 systems that once housed peaceful civilizations." Lieutenant Commander Dylan Foster, Earth's military attaché, leaned forward. "With respect, High Arbiter, humanity has maintained neutrality in galactic affairs for nearly 5 decades. We've prospered through trade and knowledge exchange, not warfare." Kethvar's bioluminescent patterns flickered rapidly, a sign of agitation, according to Earth's xenobiology reports. "Captain Wells, you must understand, the Savage Dominion does not recognize neutrality. They view non-aggression as weakness. When they finish conquering the Outer Rim worlds, they will turn their attention to species like yours." "Has Earth been directly threatened?" Madison asked. "Not yet," Kethvar admitted, "but their expansion pattern suggests they will reach human space within 10 standard years. By then, it may be too late to resist." Dr. Alexis Rivera, Earth's chief xenopsychologist, spoke for the first time. "High Arbiter, what exactly are you asking of us?" "Join our coalition," Kethvar said simply. "Your technology, while different from ours, shows remarkable innovation. Your ship designs, your quantum communication networks, your adaptive AI systems, all could prove invaluable against the Dominion." Madison exchanged glances with her officers. Earth's technology was indeed advanced, but it had been developed for exploration and peaceful purposes, not warfare. "I appreciate your situation, High Arbiter, but Earth's decision on neutrality comes from our highest governing councils. I don't have the authority to change centuries of policy." "Then contact your leaders," Kethvar urged. "Show them the data we've brought. Let them see what the Savage Dominion does to conquered worlds." The holographic display activated, showing images that made the human officers recoil. Burned worlds, cities reduced to ash, populations herded like livestock. The Savage Dominion's conquest pattern was thorough and brutal. "These are the Velkin homeworld colonies," Kethvar narrated. 3 billion souls, lost in a single campaign. The Velkin were a peaceful species, much like yours. They believed their neutrality would protect them. "This is horrible," Dr. Rivera whispered. "But surely other species are already fighting them?" 43 species comprise our coalition, Kethvar confirmed. "But the Dominion has advantages we lack. Their military doctrine is brutal but effective. They use terror as a weapon, breaking the will to resist before their fleets arrive." Lieutenant Commander Foster studied the tactical displays. Their fleet compositions show heavy emphasis on siege weapons and orbital bombardment platforms. They're not interested in occupation. They want complete destruction of resistance capabilities. Exactly, Kethvar said. This is why we need Earth's help. Your species approaches problems differently. Where we see impossible challenges, humans often find unexpected solutions. Madison felt the weight of decision pressing down on her. Hi, Arbiter. I can transmit your information to Earth Command, but I cannot make promises about our response. Humanity's commitment to neutrality runs deep. Kethvar's pattern shifted to resigned purples. I understand, Captain, but I hope your leaders realize that sometimes neutrality is not an option. Sometimes evil must be confronted, or it will consume everything good in the galaxy. After the alien delegation departed, Madison called an emergency conference with her senior staff. The ship's main briefing room felt heavier than usual as they reviewed the Coalition's data. The intelligence is overwhelming, Foster reported. The Savage Dominion has conquered 47 star systems in the past 12 years. Their military strength appears to be growing exponentially. But notice their expansion pattern, Dr. Rivera added, highlighting the galactic map. They're systematically targeting species that refuse to fight back or lack military capability. They avoid heavily defended systems. Which suggests they're not invincible, Foster concluded. They're predators, picking off the weak while avoiding genuine threats. Madison nodded thoughtfully. The question is, does Earth become a target if we continue our neutrality, or do we become a target if we join the Coalition? Based on their pattern, Dr. Rivera said, neutrality might actually make us more vulnerable. They seem to prefer conquering peaceful species. But joining a galactic war would fundamentally change what humanity is, Madison pointed out. We've built our civilization on the principle that violence is not the answer to complex problems. Foster pulled up Earth's defensive capabilities. Captain, we're not helpless. Our planetary defense networks are state-of-the-art, and our exploration fleet could be converted to military use if necessary. But we've never faced anything like this. Before Madison could respond, Ryan Torres burst into the room. Captain, urgent message from Earth Command, Priority Alpha encryption. The holographic display activated, showing Admiral Patricia Kane, Earth's defense coordinator. Her expression was grim. Captain Wells, we've received your report on the Coalition's request. The Global Council has reviewed all data and voted. Madison held her breath. Earth will maintain its policy of strict neutrality, Admiral Kane continued. We sympathize with the Coalition's plight, but humanity cannot become involved in galactic warfare. You are ordered to inform the Coalition that Earth wishes them success, but cannot provide military assistance. The transmission ended, leaving the briefing room in silence. Well, Foster said finally, that's that. But Madison felt uneasy. Something about the Savage Dominion's pattern bothered her. Ryan, send a message to the Coalition. Tell them Earth's decision, but also request they keep us informed about Dominion movements near human space. Aye, Captain. 6 months passed. The war between the Coalition and the Savage Dominion intensified, with the reports reaching Earth of massive battles and entire star systems changing hands. Humanity continued its policy of neutrality, though some voices began questioning whether isolation was sustainable. The first sign of trouble came from the Kepler colony, humanity's most distant settlement. Located 37 light-years from Earth, Kepler housed 200,000 colonists who had spent 15 years terraforming the planet into a garden world. Governor Lisa Chen transmitted her weekly report to Earth, as always. But this time, something was different. Earth Command, this is Governor Chen on Kepler Colony, the transmission began. Everything is proceeding normally with terraforming operations. Agricultural yields are up 12% from last quarter, and the new hydroponics facilities are online ahead of schedule. Captain Wells, now stationed at Earth's Deep Space Monitoring Station, watched the routine report with her usual interest. But Dr. Rivera, who had transferred to the station after the Coalition incident, frowned. Something's wrong, Rivera said. What do you mean? Madison asked. Listen to her phrasing. Everything is proceeding normally. Governor Chen never uses that exact phrase. She always says operations are running smoothly, or all systems nominal. And look at her eye movement. She's reading from something off camera. Madison felt ice form in her stomach. Ryan, analyze the transmission for anomalies. Torres ran the data through advanced filters. Captain, there are micro fluctuations in the background audio. It's almost like someone else is in the room, breathing very quietly. Send a priority message to Kepler Colony, Madison ordered. Request immediate status update, full encryption protocol. The response came 12 hours later. Governor Chen appeared on screen again, but this time her message was brutally clear. Earth Command, this is Governor Chen. Kepler Colony is under occupation by forces of the Savage Dominion. They arrived 4 days ago with overwhelming force. No resistance was possible. Her voice was steady, but tears streaked down her face. They have not harmed the civilian population yet, but they have made their demands clear. Kepler Colony is now a staging ground for Dominion operations. The transmission cut to another figure, a massive reptilian creature with cybernetic implants covering half its skull. When it spoke, its voice was like grinding stone. I am War Commander Kexatai of the Savage Dominion. I address the species called human. Your colony world now serves the Dominion. This is not conquest. This is education. Kextai's cybernetic eye glowed red. You have 1 rotation to respond. Acknowledge Dominion sovereignty over the system, or watch your colonists learn the price of defiance. The choice is yours. The transmission ended. Admiral Kane called an emergency session of the Global Council within hours. Madison found herself transported to Earth's capital, where the planet's leaders debated humanity's response to its first direct threat in 50 years. The situation is clear, said Council President Zhang Wei. The Dominion has taken hostile action against the human colony. This changes everything. Does it? Asked Council Member Priya Okafor. They haven't harmed our people. Maybe this can be resolved diplomatically. They've taken 200,000 humans hostage. Admiral Kane pointed out, this is an act of war. But engaging them militarily could escalate into something we can't control, argued Council Member Roberts. Earth's defense fleet is designed for protection, not interstellar warfare. Madison stood to address the Council. With respect, Council President, I've studied the Dominion's patterns extensively. They don't make idle threats. If we don't respond, they will make an example of Kepler Colony, and then they'll move on to the next human settlement. But what kind of response? Zhang Wei asked. Military action could provoke them into attacking Earth itself. Inaction will definitely provoke them, Madison replied. The Dominion respects only strength. They attacked Kepler precisely because they believe humanity is weak. Dr. Rivera activated a holographic display showing galactic intelligence data. Council President, our analysis suggests this is a test. The Dominion wants to see how humanity responds to aggression. Our reaction will determine whether they view us as a threat to be respected or prey to be consumed. The debate continued for hours. Some council members argued for immediate military response, others for diplomatic negotiation, still others for abandoning Kepler Colony to preserve Earth's neutrality. Finally, Admiral Kane presented the military options. Our defense fleet consists of 47 ships, ranging from escort frigates to the heavy cruiser Terra Prime. We also have the experimental stealth ship Shadow Walker, equipped with quantum disruption weapons. What are our chances against Dominion forces? Zhang Wei asked. Unknown, Kane admitted. We've never faced their technology in combat, but Captain Wells has a proposal. Madison activated her presentation. Council President, I propose a limited military response. 1 ship, minimal crew, surgical strike to rescue the colonists and withdraw. We demonstrate that humanity is not defenseless, but we don't escalate to full warfare. What ship? Kane asked. The Shadow Walker. Its stealth capabilities and quantum weapons give us the best chance of success with minimal escalation risk. Council Member Okafor shook her head. This is madness. 1 ship against an unknown enemy? It's suicide. Maybe, Madison admitted. But doing nothing guarantees that more human colonies will be attacked. The Dominion needs to learn that humanity has limits. The vote was close. 7 in favor of the rescue mission, 5 opposed, 3 abstaining. Humanity would make its first military action in interstellar space. Captain Wells found herself commanding the Shadow Walker as it departed Earth's solar system. The ship was humanity's most advanced vessel, incorporating breakthrough technologies that even Earth scientists didn't fully understand. Its quantum phase cloak could make it invisible to most sensors, while its disruption weapons could theoretically damage any target at the molecular level. Her crew was small but highly skilled. Lieutenant Commander Foster handled tactical operations, Dr. Rivera provided psychological warfare expertise, and a new addition, Commander Kai Nakamura, served as the ship's strategic operations officer. Approaching Kepler system, reported navigator Beth Santos. Sensors detecting multiple large vessels in orbit around the colony world. Take us to stealth mode, Madison ordered. Let's see what we're dealing with. The Shadow Walker phased into quantum invisibility as it entered the system. Through enhanced sensors, they could see the Dominion fleet. 7 massive warships surrounding Kepler colony like predators circling prey. Those are siege platforms, Foster reported, studying the tactical data. Each one carries enough firepower to crack a planet's crust. They're not here to occupy. They're here to intimidate. What about defenses? Madison asked. Minimal, Nakamura replied. They're confident in their superiority. Most of their weapons are pointed toward the planet, not watching for incoming threats. Dr. Rivera studied the psychological profile. Classic Dominion tactics. Overwhelming force display, minimal actual security. They want the colonists to see how hopeless resistance would be. Then let's show them how wrong they are, Madison said. Kai, what's our best approach? Nakamura highlighted the enemy formation. Their command ship is the largest vessel, positioned directly above the colony's main city. If we can disable it quickly, the others might retreat rather than risk a prolonged engagement. Or they might glass the planet in retaliation, Foster pointed out. That's the risk, Madison acknowledged. But Governor Chen and 200,000 people are counting on us to try. The Shadow Walker approached the Dominion command ship undetected. At close range, they could see the massive vessel's architecture, all angles and aggressive protrusions designed to look as threatening as possible. Scanning for weak points, Foster reported. Their shields are focused on the lower hull, protecting against planetary weapons. The upper superstructure is more vulnerable. Target their command center, Madison ordered. One shot, maximum power. We end this quickly. The quantum disruption beam lanced out, invisible to most sensors, but devastating to molecular structures. It struck a Dominion command ship's primary bridge, causing a chain reaction that rippled through the vessel's hull. Immediately, alarms began sounding throughout the enemy fleet. They're trying to lock onto us, Santos reported, but the stealth field is holding. The Dominion command ship was listing badly, its hull breached in multiple locations. But it was still functional and now very angry. Incoming transmission, Ryan Torres announced. War Commander Kexatai appeared on the screen, his cybernetic implants sparking from damage. Unknown vessel, you have made a grave error. Reveal yourselves and surrender, or watch this colony burn. Madison nodded to Torres, who opened a channel. This is Captain Wells of the Earth vessel Shadow Walker. You are in violation of human territorial sovereignty. Withdraw immediately. Kexatai's reptilian features twisted in what might have been a smile. One small ship challenges the might of the savage Dominion? Your species is even more foolish than reported. Test us and find out, Madison replied coldly. The Dominion commander's expression changed. Something in her tone seemed to give him pause. What are your demands? Immediate withdrawal from this system. All human colonists to remain unharmed. Any damage to colony infrastructure to be compensated. Impossible, Kexatai snarled. The Dominion does not negotiate with prey species. Then you'll have to explain to your superiors how one small Earth ship destroyed your command vessel, Madison said. I'm sure they'll be understanding about your failure. For a long moment, the channel remained silent. Finally, Kexatai spoke again. You have won this encounter, human. But the savage Dominion remembers its enemies. We will return with greater force. We'll be ready, Madison replied simply. The Dominion fleet withdrew from Kepler system, leaving the colonists unharmed but shaken. Governor Chen's relief was palpable when she contacted the Shadow Walker. Captain, we can't thank you enough. When those ships arrived, we thought it was over. It's not over, Madison warned. They'll be back, probably with reinforcements. Earth needs to prepare for a larger conflict. The return journey to Earth gave Madison time to think about what had just occurred. Humanity had crossed a line from neutral observer to active participant in galactic affairs. There would be consequences. Admiral Kane met them at Earth's orbital station, her expression grim. "Captain, your mission was successful, but it's also created new problems. Our intelligence networks are reporting increased Dominion activity throughout the sector. They're probing our defenses," Madison realized. "Testing our capabilities." "Exactly, and they're not the only ones. High Arbiter Kethvar has requested another meeting. The Coalition wants to know if Earth is ready to reconsider joining their alliance." Madison felt the weight of history pressing down on her. "Admiral, what's the Council's position?" "That's why you're here," Kane replied. "They want your assessment. Is humanity ready for war?" The question hung in the air like a challenge. Everything humanity had built, its peaceful expansion into space, its commitment to nonviolence, its dream of exploring the galaxy as friends rather than conquerors, all of it was at stake. "Admiral," Madison said finally, "I don't think we have a choice anymore. The Dominion won't ignore us just because we want to be left alone. They see us as either allies or enemies. There's no middle ground." Kane nodded slowly. "That's what I was afraid you'd say." The second meeting with High Arbiter Kethvar took place aboard the Coalition flagship Stellar Harmony, a massive vessel that served as mobile headquarters for the Alliance. Madison found herself in a conference room filled with representatives from dozens of species, all united by their opposition to the Savage Dominion. "Captain Wells," Kethvar greeted her warmly, "your actions at Kepler Colony have been noted throughout Coalition space. Many species are curious about humanity's capabilities." "We're still learning our own capabilities," Madison replied honestly. "The encounter with War Commander Kexatai was our first real test." "And you passed admirably," said a new voice. Madison turned to see a crystalline being whose body refracted light in beautiful patterns. "I am Fleet Admiral Sendara of the Luminous Republic. Your stealth technology and precision weapons exceeded our expectations." Dr. Rivera leaned forward. "What exactly are you proposing?" Kethvar activated a holographic display showing the galactic situation. "The war has reached a critical phase. The Dominion controls 63 systems and continues expanding. Traditional Coalition tactics have proven insufficient. But your success at Kepler suggests a new approach," Admiral Sendara continued. "Small, highly capable strike forces using advanced technology to target specific objectives. It's not how we've traditionally fought." "Because you've been fighting honorably," Commander Nakamura observed. "The Dominion doesn't share that limitation." "Precisely," Kethvar said, "which is why we need species like humanity. You approach warfare differently, as a problem to be solved rather than a ritual to be observed." Madison studied the tactical displays. "What would you want from Earth?" "Initially, technical expertise and limited military support," Kethvar replied. "Your stealth ships could conduct reconnaissance missions, rescue operations, and targeted strikes. In return, the Coalition would provide intelligence, logistical support, and protection for human colonies." "And eventually?" Madison asked. "Eventually, full integration into Coalition military doctrine," Admiral Sendara admitted. "The Dominion is too powerful for any single species to defeat. Only united can we hope to preserve our freedom." The negotiations continued for days. Earth's government wrestled with the decision while more reports arrived of Dominion attacks on neutral worlds. The pattern was clear. Species that refused to choose sides were being systematically conquered. Finally, President Jiang Wei made the announcement that changed human history. "Fellow citizens of Earth," he said in a broadcast that reached every human settlement in space, "for nearly 50 years, humanity has maintained neutrality in galactic affairs. We believed that peace could be preserved through non-interference. Recent events have proven us wrong." The president's image was transmitted across the galaxy as well, letting every species know of Earth's decision. "The Savage Dominion has attacked human colonies and threatened human lives. They have made it clear that neutrality is not an option. Therefore, Earth hereby joins the Hegemony Coalition in opposition to Dominion aggression." But let us be clear about our intentions. We do not seek conquest or domination. We do not wish to impose human values on other species. We seek only the preservation of freedom and the right of all peaceful civilizations to exist without fear. To the Savage Dominion, we say this. You have awakened something in humanity that we hoped would never be necessary. But if you insist on war, you will discover why our species survived every challenge our homeworld could present. You will learn that making an enemy of Earth was the greatest mistake in your empire's history. The declaration sent shockwaves throughout the galaxy. Within hours, 12 more species petitioned to join the coalition, inspired by humanity's commitment. But the Dominion's response was swift and brutal. War Commander Kexatai led a massive fleet toward human space, intent on crushing Earth's resistance before it could become a threat. His armada consisted of over 100 ships, including planet-killer siege platforms, designed to make examples of rebellious worlds. But Kexatai had misunderstood humanity's nature. Earth's response wasn't based on military tradition or honor codes. It was based on cold, methodical problem-solving. Admiral Kane coordinated Earth's defense from the newly constructed fortress station Terra Shield, positioned at the edge of the solar system. But rather than meet the Dominion fleet in conventional battle, humanity employed tactics that confused and frustrated their enemies. The first engagement occurred when Kexatai's advanced scouts encountered what appeared to be a single human patrol ship. The vessel, Deep Explorer, seemed to flee in panic when confronted by superior forces. "Pursue and destroy," Kexatai ordered. "Let them know the price of defying the Dominion." But the Deep Explorer's retreat was carefully planned. It led the pursuing Dominion ships through a carefully mapped asteroid field where 12 cloaked human vessels waited in ambush. The quantum disruption weapons that had proven effective at Kepler Colony devastated the unprepared enemy ships. "What manner of cowardice is this?" Kexatai raged when he received reports of the ambush. "They refused to fight with honor." His second-in-command, a cybernetically enhanced warrior named Vexatar, studied the tactical data. "War Commander, their tactics are unfamiliar but effective. They use deception and superior technology to offset our numerical advantage. Then we will overwhelm them with such force that tactics become irrelevant," Kexatai decided. "Prepare the full fleet for assault on their homeworld." But when the Dominion Armada arrived at Earth's solar system, they found something unexpected. The human homeworld was protected by a defensive network unlike anything in the galaxy. Not massive battleships or orbital fortresses, but thousands of small, automated platforms that could coordinate their fire with frightening precision. "What are those things?" Vexatar asked as the platforms began lighting up on sensors. "Scanning," reported the ship's science officer. "They appear to be manufacturing stations." They were. Earth's orbital industry had been converted overnight into weapons platforms, each one equipped with quantum disruption arrays and linked to a central AI network that could calculate firing solutions with inhuman accuracy. When Kexatai ordered the attack, his fleet faced a hurricane of precisely targeted energy beams. The platforms were too small and numerous to target effectively, but their combined firepower was devastating. "Impossible!" Kexatai snarled as reports of damage poured in. "How can a manufacturing economy become a weapon system?" The answer came from Captain Wells, whose voice reached the Dominion fleet through captured communication frequencies. "War Commander Kexatai, this is Captain Wells of Earth Defense. You asked how we could fight you? The answer is simple. We turned our entire civilization into a weapon. Every factory, every space station, every automated system in our solar system is now dedicated to your destruction." You see, we learned something important from studying your empire. You conquer through fear and overwhelming force. But fear works both ways. And you've just discovered what happens when you threaten a species that can redesign reality itself. The battle raged for 3 days. The Dominion fleet, designed to intimidate and conquer unprepared worlds, found itself facing an enemy that had weaponized the fundamental structure of its society. When conventional tactics failed, humanity showed its true innovation. Dr. Rivera's psychological warfare protocols targeted the Dominion's command structure, using their own communication networks to spread confusion and doubt. Commander Nakamura's strategic planning turned the solar system itself into a maze of overlapping kill zones. And Captain Wells's tactical brilliance coordinated it all from the bridge of the newly commissioned Earth's Defiance. On the fourth day, War Commander Kexatai faced a choice that no Dominion commander had ever been forced to make: retreat or watch his entire fleet be systematically destroyed by an enemy that refused to fight by galactic rules. War Commander, Vexatar reported with growing panic, we've lost 60% of our vessels. Their weapons are actually improving during combat. They're learning our weaknesses in real time. Kexatai stared at the tactical display showing the remnants of his once mighty armada. How is this possible? They are one small species. Not small, came Captain Wells's voice again. Different. You see, War Commander, you made one critical error. You assumed that because we chose peace, we were incapable of war. You were wrong. We're very, very good at war. We just prefer not to be... Retreat, Kexatai ordered through gritted teeth. Signal the fleet. We withdraw from this system. War Commander, Wells's voice continued, let me make something clear. This was just Earth's solar system. We have colonies throughout this sector, each one now converting to military production. And we're sharing our technology with the Coalition. You've started something you can't finish. As the battered Dominion fleet retreated, humanity's message spread throughout the galaxy. The species that had maintained neutrality for 50 years had revealed themselves to be the most dangerous military power anyone had ever encountered. Not because they were naturally violent, but because they were naturally innovative. The war's tide turned within months. Human tactical doctrines, combined with Coalition resources and determination, began pushing the Dominion back from conquered worlds. Species that had been enslaved for decades found themselves liberated by joint operations that used precision, technology, and careful planning instead of brute force. High Arbiter Kethvar visited Earth a year later as humanity formally joined the Coalition as a full partner rather than a reluctant ally. Captain Wells, he said as they stood in the observation deck of the rebuilt Terra Shield Station, I must confess something. When I first requested Earth's aid, I hoped you would provide ships and soldiers. I never imagined you would provide something far more valuable. What's that? Madison asked. Hope, Kethvar replied. For 3 centuries, the Coalition fought defensively, always reacting to Dominion aggression. You showed us that wars are won by thinking differently, not fighting harder. Madison nodded, looking out at the stars where human and Coalition ships now patrolled together. We never wanted this war, High Arbiter. But once it became necessary, we fought it the only way we knew how, to win. And the galaxy is safer because of it, Kethvar said. The Dominion is retreating to their core worlds. Many species are declaring independence. The age of their expansion is ending. Good, Madison said simply. Maybe now we can get back to exploring the galaxy instead of defending it. But even as she spoke, Madison knew that humanity had changed forever. The species that had spent 50 years avoiding galactic conflicts had become the Coalition's most effective military force. Not through conquest or aggression, but through the same innovation and problem-solving that had carried them to the stars. In his final report, War Commander Kexatai wrote words that would become famous throughout the galaxy. The humans did not defeat us through superior strength or numbers. They defeated us by becoming something we never expected. A peaceful species that was better at war than warriors. The savage Dominion fell within 5 years, not to massive fleets or glorious battles, but to carefully coordinated operations that systematically dismantled their ability to maintain control over conquered worlds. And at the center of every victory was humanity's gift for turning impossible problems into elegant solutions. Earth had stayed silent during the galaxy's darkest hour. But when the first shot made it personal, humanity showed the universe that there was a difference between choosing peace and being unable to wage war. The stars themselves seemed brighter afterward, as if the galaxy had remembered how to hope.